My name is Barbara Hallis and I'm the director of the White River Women's Shelter here in Newport. And I would like to introduce Mr. Jeff Phillips. He's the county judge, he's Judge Jeff Phillips. And he has to leave shortly, so I'm going to let him speak first.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank all of y'all for coming. The Battered Women's Shelter is dear to my heart. Any of us who have had loved ones that have been abused or murdered will understand that this is very, very real. And this is very, very dear to us. So I thank each and every one of you for coming. I'm sorry I've got to leave, but I've had another engagement. But I really do appreciate all y'all and y'all's support for this organization.
I want to welcome all of you to our second annual Candlelight Vigil, honoring all the women and children in the state of Arkansas who lost their lives in the past year due to domestic violence. Domestic violence is a cancer that is spreading rapidly throughout our society. It is something that everyone needs to educate themselves about because they know when it might infiltrate your family or somebody that you know. It is our hope that you will take what you learned tonight with you and spread the word about domestic violence and help us to warn everyone about the dangers of domestic violence. But we're going to start our program with a song from the ladies of John 3:16. Sydney and Bridget will sing at the cross. Jennifer from John 3:17 is going to read a quote that she wrote for this occasion.
As I stand in front of the mirror, nursing my wounds, hollow sheets whose necks spoke, blood dripping from my lip and tears running down my face, anger wells up inside of me. How could I have made you mad? I know how hard you work, and again, this must be my fault. Knowing deep down I don't have to do a thing. You don't mean to take it out on me. I'm just gonna try harder, and I'm just gonna love you better. I'm gonna make sure that the house looks better, and I promise I won't argue. I'll have dinner on the table, and don't worry, my love, I'll make you better. I'll love you harder to make you happy. Just please stop yelling, and I know you don't mean what you say, yet your words are stuck in my head, and I know I can't live without you. You are the only one who loves me. I am an idiot. Again, you strike, and this time with the butt of your gun. I beg you and I need you to makeup won't cover your rage this time, and a separated jaw near death. That's not your voice calling my name. Come home, my daughter. I am your father. Come home to me. I won't hit you and I won't break your heart. You are my gem, and I will make you sparkle within. No longer do you have to bleed in man's hands. Daughter, just come home. Leviticus 26:6-8. I will grant peace in this land, and you will lie down. No one will make you afraid, and I will remove savage beasts from the land, and the sword will not pass through you. You will pursue your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you. Dear Lord, I may not understand how everything will work out, but I trust you, and I don't see a way out, but I know that you will make a way. I have faith at this very moment that you are touching hearts, opening doors, and lining up the right breaks and opportunities. Things look dark and blank right now, but I have faith and that my dawn is coming. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, our next guest speaker is Lou Butterfield. Lou is a retired Church of Christ minister. He's also got a business that's called www.wefightporn.org, and they're doing some wonderful work for that. But he's also the producer of a video called Missing Micah. One of his friends came to him one day and asked him if he would make a documentary of his daughter's death, and it was due to a domestic homicide. So let's give us a hand for Lou Butterfield.
I want to start with 30 seconds of silence. Seconds. Seemed like a long time in one way, and another way it didn't seem like long at all. Let me tell you what happened in those 30 seconds. 12 people in the United States were abused. Every 30 seconds, 24/7, 12 people are abused. It averages out to one every 2.5 seconds. Some were raped, some were beaten up, some were abused in other ways, many of whom did not reach out for help. And this women's shelter is absolutely wonderful. I remember last year we came out here and it was dark and it was raining and it was cold, and people still came. And the ladies that work with the women's shelter are just unbelievable. And they don't pay me, so I'm not looking for anything, but I think we need to give them a hand for their work. In my work in fighting pornography, I deal with all kinds of abuse. And I found that there's at least 9 kinds of abuse: emotional, sexual, physical, spiritual, verbal, mental, economic, neglect, abandonment, and you can probably just go on and on and on with that. In a typical day, domestic abuse hotlines receive 21,000 calls. More than 1 out of every 3 women in the United States have been abused. More than 1 out of every 4 men in the United States have been abused. 1 out of every 5 women in the United States have suffered a rape. That's more than 12 million over a year. Schedule says I produced Missing Micah. I did that. They were thinking about showing it, but it's 1 hour and 42 minutes long. Told them that probably wasn't a good idea. But let me tell you just quickly about it. Micah Ryan was a graduate of Harding Academy, came from a very nice family, went to Harding University, graduated with a nursing degree. She's the daughter of a very, very good friend of mine, Dennis and Terry Ryan, both of whom worked at Harding. They were my colleagues. Well, she met a boy at Harding who had been kicked out of several schools. And his parents finally decided if they'd sent him to a Christian school, maybe the school could fix him. Well, it's not set up to fix people. And she fell in love with this guy. And the reason she fell in love with him is he was a little on the edge. She'd always been a good girl. She always did what her parents wanted. And he was a little irreverent. He didn't exactly go by the rules, and for some reason that appealed to her. And against everyone's advice, which is probably why she pushed on, she married the guy. We all thought it was a bad idea. They moved to Memphis, where she got a really good job as a nurse. He worked for his dad as a salesman in a home office there in their house in Memphis, which actually gave him all kinds of time to get into all kinds of meanness. On occasion, he'd go out and get in a fight. He did a lot of drinking. He did drugs, and he did a lot of pornography. And for those of you that know about pornography, there's nothing more demeaning to a woman than pornography. And she was a very good-looking young lady, and he kept telling her she was fat and ugly. When she died, she weighed 115 pounds. My right leg weighs 115 pounds. So she wasn't fat by any means. One day he was flying back from Atlanta, and he met a woman on a plane. And they decided they were going to hook up, so the next weekend, Thomas told his wife, Micah, that he had to go back to Atlanta for a job, and he met this woman in Tunica. They hitched up a plan, or hooked up a plan, to get rid of Micah, because the woman found out that Micah had a $200,000 life insurance policy. So it was a cold, very rainy night in April 2009. Thomas coaxed her to the edge of the Loochahatchee River. They ran, they did a lot of stuff like that. And while she was looking at the raging waters, he pulled out a pistol, shot her 1 time in the head, and left her dead body there on the side. Devastated all of us. The legal proceedings went on for 2 years. And at the last minute, he took a plea and is now in prison for 25 years without the possibility of parole. Had he not taken the plea, the prosecutors thought they would have gotten 50. I opted for the 50, but I didn't have a choice. Why did all that happen? Came down to abuse. All kinds of abuse. I don't know that he ever beat her up, but I know he verbally abused her, spiritually abused her, emotionally abused her, economically abused her with pornography, made her feel little and small and worthless. And that's how he felt about her too, because he killed her. If if she only would have listened to any of us that said, this is not the way you need to live. But you see, Thomas was her project, and she always thought she could fix him. And my advice to everyone is don't marry your project. Do not marry your project. A lot of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of you have suffered a lot, but you're lucky because there's the 317 group, there's a Remmel Church, there are other churches, and there's the women's shelter who care about you and want to help you get through these struggles. Thanks for letting me talk.
John 3:17 will sing a combination of songs, a medley of songs.
There's a peace I've come to know when my heart and flesh may fail. There's an anchor for my soul, and I can say that it is well.
Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed. Victory is won. He has risen from the dead, and I will rise when he calls my name. No more sorrow, no more pain. I will rise on eagle's wings before my God. Fall on my knees and rise. I will rise. I heard an old story, how a Savior came from glory, how he gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood's atonement, and I repented of my sin and won the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. Like a bride waiting for her groom, will be a church ready for you. Every heart longing for our King will sing. Even so, come, oh Jesus, come. Even so, come, oh Jesus, come. I will feast at the table of the Lord. I will feast at the table of the Lord. And I won't hunger anymore at his table. There is peace at the table of the Lord. There is peace at the table of the Lord. And I won't worry anymore at his table. Come all you weary, come and find. His yoke is easy, his burden light. He is able, he will restore at the table of the Lord. I'm invited to the table of the Lord. I'm invited to the table of the Lord. our sons and daughters. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus. My heart will sing no other name. Jesus. I believe in the Son. I believe in the risen one. I believe I overcome by the power of His blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because He lives. Amen. Amen. Let my soul join the world that never ends because He lives. I was dead in the grave. I was covered in sin and shame. I heard mercy call my name, and He wrote the stone away. Jesus, He loves me. He loves me. He adores me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me. He adores me. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day.
I want to thank the girls from John 3:17. It was very uplifting. Our next lady, before I introduce Laura, is, I want to tell you briefly about a law called Laura's Law that just has been enacted by the Governor, Asa Hutchinson. We are hopeful that this law is going to be very beneficial for us reporting domestic violence. If a police gets a domestic violence call, the officer responds and fills out a questionnaire that will allow the officer to advise the victim of the level of danger they're in. They are also required to give the victim Laura's card, which gives the victims information that will help them to make better decisions if they choose to leave and rebuild a new life. Laura's Law is named after 3 women affected by domestic violence. They include Laura Aspis, a Eureka Spring woman who was killed by her ex-boyfriend in 2012. Her mother, Laura Potts, who has since become an advocate of domestic violence victims. The bill and the name of Laura's card were also inspired by victim rights advocates and domestic violence survivor Laura Webb, who was a survivor of severe domestic violence, and we are honored that Laura is here with us tonight to tell us her story. Please welcome Laura Webb.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you from the women from White River Shelter for having me. Thank you, Beth. Thank you for the wonderful songs that you sang, because when I come to speak, I'm not really sure where I'm going to go. Here's where this happened. On Easter weekend of 2012, my husband, who was a law enforcement officer with a federal agency, decided he would run over me with a truck. We were at Mount Magazine in a cabin. He drove over me. He hit me first. He backed up over me. Then he drove over me and left. And I was alone on the top of this mountain. But while I was under that truck, I knew I wasn't alone, because the conversation went like this. Hey, God, I would really like to pray to you right now that He does not drive back over me with this vehicle. But I'm not going to ask you that, because I know you give everyone free will. So when He chooses to drive back over me, I don't want to be mad at you later about this. Somehow, I'm there laying on this mountain, and the night was much like tonight, and there was a little bit of moon, and I realized I'm dying, and there was nobody but God and I on this mountain. And I thought, don't move unless you see someone in that other cabin. And the wisp of this lady's hair came by a window. It was miraculous in itself, and by God's grace, somehow I crawled over there because the truck had crushed my entire rib cage on my right side and had punctured my lung. And I had been fairly athletic, thank you, genetically, from my parents and the Lord, that I was able to get there. That was just the beginning of the spiritual journey for me, which has been very hard because when people are damaged due to trauma, one of the impacts is on someone's spiritual life. Tonight, the songs that you sang were very healing for me, and I want to thank you, and how welcoming you all have been has been a part of healing, and your angels on this journey of life together, so I want to thank you for that. When I was in the hospital, a young man came to change my clothes. Mummy was mummified, and he said, "Ma'am, who did this to you?" And I said, "Well, my husband did this," and then I don't know, I can only give credit to the Lord. I said, "But Moses committed murder, and David committed murder, and God still used them for his glory." It made me realize then that God forgives us. He has a reason and a purpose. He can take what's evil and turn it for good. And one of the songs that you just sang, "Oh Happy Day," when I came out of my surgery, that was the song that was coming through my head. So to hear that, I'm like, this is unbelievable, because for almost 3.5 years, I've been numb spiritually. And to get to feel the presence of the Lord with all of you is a blessing. I'm one of the fortunate people that was allowed to live. And when I did, God led me on a journey to make sure there were no more Lauras. No more Laura Chavez, no more Laura Ponce, who lost her daughter, and no more Laura, who'd been run over by a truck. Domestic violence is the #1 reason that women ages 19 to 44 make it to an emergency room for a visit. We have a display of 10 people that we're here to honor. And if you notice when you read these, some of them were murder-suicides. That just doesn't represent the 10 or 12 people. It represents their children and their families and their loved ones and their communities and our society. I want to thank you for the work that you do. I want to thank all of you for being the angels that you are. I hope and pray that together, all of us can help support one another, stop domestic violence, and help people become more productive members in their society. I owe a huge thanks to someone who answered an email, who will speak later. I had called and asked someone, what can I do to help? And they said, email a legislator, and one answered. I said, who will be the voice for those silenced by domestic violence? And she said, I'll be their champion. And she's held true to her word. I want to give all the glory to God. I want to thank you for being here, and may God continue to bless the work that you do here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. Up next is Tanya Whitworth. She is a current reigning Mrs. White County and will be contestant in the Miss Arkansas pageant. Her platform in the pageant is becoming aware to domestic violence. Tanya is a survivor of extreme abuse who also lived to tell the story. Her main focus is empowering domestic violence victims to break the cycle, and become happy, healthy, productive people.
Good evening. I'm very touched. I'm very honored to be here. I feel it's a very big gift for me to be here tonight. I'm very humbled to be among you, among those that have survived and moved on among the obstacles that they faced. my friend Laura. I look up to her every single day, and I love her tremendously. I may represent Mrs. White County, Arkansas for 2016, but there is something that I will forever do. I will forever be your advocate. I will forever be your support system. And I will forever be a fighter in your corner. I will be that lioness that will fight for you, because I have been where you are. I have been, unfortunately, where several women are today. I woke up in 2012 knowing that God has a plan, a purpose, and a blueprint for my life. I was allowed to live. In 2012, I found that my husband was having an affair with a nurse. I learned that she had been exchanging my medication for some time. Together, I was being drugged for over a long period of time. There were days, weeks, long periods of time that I have no recollection of my life. I was held against my will for over 6 hours. I was raped by both my husband and his mistress. There were things that were done to me that should not be done to anyone. The words for richer and poor, sickness and in health, until death do us part, seemed to have stuck to him. But he didn't know what those words meant. I was harassed. I was threatened. My family was threatened. There was no escape. There was no help. There were several times that I tried to escape, but I could not. Every time that I did try, I was forced back into the home. I tried to escape to my family's home. I tried to escape to a hotel, only to be found. I felt helpless. I ended up in the hospital twice. At one point, there was 4 security guards that had a security lockdown. There was no help. They released me to him, only because we were still married. He freely walked into my place of employment. A police report was filed. The report stated that he had been harassing me. He was in contempt of court for breaking a restraining order. Come to find out, after I had left, after a divorce had been filed or filed for divorce, I had found out in previous years, 4 years before I had ever even met him, that he had raped a 12-year-old child. I had never known. The police department stated that they would not arrest him, even though he had harassed me at work, only because he was a level 2 offender. I had checked several times with the police officer as what I could do to protect me. He said there was nothing really they could do because there was too much overcrowding. I took it to the sheriff's department, and I was promised several times that they would help me, but nothing was done. They sat on the case for over 2 years. Finally, after many calls, they passed it on to a detective who worked on it another 9 months. A judge finally said it had been too long, and that was that. Nothing was ever done. Nothing. I thank God every single day that we have representatives in our state that are pushing for the domestic violence laws, that we have Laura's card and Laura's law to protect our people now. I thank God every day that we have representatives and legislators that are working to help protect our women against domestic violence. Even though today he knows where I am, what I do, and he's even been able to get into my bank account, he still keeps up with me. and he most likely will as long as I breathe. But that's okay, because the difference is now that I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all, because I'm a warrior. I'm on a mission, because I'm never going to be a victim. None of us are victims. We are survivors. And I'm a lioness ready to step forward, to advocate, to promote, to empower, to support every single beautiful woman that we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanya. It's not on the program, but we would like to introduce Representative Charlotte Douglas, and would you like to come up and say a few words?
I think my mission here tonight, as I see it, is to give you a challenge. In Laura's case, she sat probably in a lonely bedroom thinking about how she could make a difference for women that had been in her situation. She wrote an email and probably pondered about whether or not to hit that send button. But she had the courage to press send. What are we needing the courage to do in our lives to make a difference for those around us? We need people in our communities, our faith-based community. Our churches need to step in. We can't do this as a state. We need local communities like you guys have done here. So my challenge is for everybody to find what their gift is. What can you do? Everybody in here can push a send button at the very least and write somebody about what's going on or what help you need. Send a letter to local officials. What are the gaps in your services that you have here in your community that no one's filling? Form a community committee with people from the hospitals, the judges, the people from the schools, and figure out what it is that you're not able to do for victims. Everybody can do something. When our backs are up against the wall, I see people in this audience that will take the motto, I have deep within me the inability to do nothing. That means you don't retreat, you charge. So I hope that everybody here, at whatever stage of healing that you're in, you will find someone else to help. Because thinking outside your own burdens and helping someone else will be will go a long way to help you heal. I'm here, Laura's here, and we're all a community that have the pieces to put together so that we can help the people around us. I think you guys as a community have put on an amazing night here tonight. It's inspirational and it gives me hope. It gives me great hope. So I thank those of you that have stepped up to the plate and have found something to do. You have taken that motto, I have deep within me the inability to do nothing. And instead of retreat from this, we need to form a full-out charge and find out how we can wipe this devastating disease of domestic violence from the face of our communities. Amen. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
First, I'd like to say thank y'all for everyone coming out tonight, just bringing this all together. Samantha Cole, age of 29, her light went out
14th, 2014. Donna Lott, age 46. Her light went out May 30th, 2014. Stephanie Hearns, age 32. Her light went out July 14th, 2014. Brianna Butler, age 22. Her light went out July 20th, 2014. Nelma Darlene, age 76. Her light went out July 26, 2014. Bailey Breedlove, age 24. Her light went out October 6, 2014. Erica Lockhart, age 28. Her light went out September the 16th, 2014. Sheila Frederick, age 46. Her light went out December 24, 2014. Diamond Ebron, age 17. Her light went out September the 2nd, 2014. And Mary McCall, age 79. August the 3rd, 2014.
All of these women were domestic violence victims that chose to stay in their situation instead of getting help, like going to one of the shelters, going to the church, the pastor, any other help that was available. Now I would like each one of you to come forward and pick up a candle, and there's a little switch on the bottom, and please form a circle around the pavilion, and then John 3:17 will be singing for us again as we march around with the candles. Would you please come forward? Would you please come forward and get a candle?